Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we'll be reviewing Transformers Age of the Primes, Alchemist Prime. He is a deluxe class figure, he is the 6th Prime, and honestly, solid alt mode. Looking at the figure much closer, if the camera wants to focus, hello, there you go. Looking at the alt mode much closer, it's very bulky, very solid alt mode. Has kind of like an SUV kind of approach with it. Backside has some exposed hands. Underside, solid enough, A little harder to tell that there's a robot here. I mean, unless you're familiar with the design, then you can clearly see, like, oh yeah, we have our hips, our thighs, legs, but if you're showing this to someone that wasn't familiar with Transformers, I feel like a lot of the robot bits would blend in a little better. Obviously, the hands, I think, are the only real dead giveaway if you were to show this to someone that isn't a Transformers fan. And honestly, besides that, the alt mode doesn't really have any other signs of a robot mode or a robot here. Removing his accessories. Top of the alt mode is very flat, mostly. It goes down just a bit where our 5mm ports are. Sides of the alt mode look lovely. We have this nice metallic greenish gold along with this silver. We have some kind of like a metallic dark gunmetal blue, kind of. Don't really know how to describe it, but there's a tint of blue in this gunmetal gray wheel, and it looks nice. I don't know. Say this color is also used for the hips, so it is used. So at least there's something. Color's nice though. I like it a lot. The windshield uses this trans blue plastic with some sculpted detail on the inside, as you can see with all the line work in there. Front of the alt mode has There you go. Front of the alt mode has this nice silver color, or not silver, has some nice silver headlights, along with this kind of grille design. This alt mode feels very Transformers Prime bulkhead. It has that kind of feeling to it. Looks nice though. I'm gonna say it's solid. I give it a shake. The only thing you can really hear is the wheels kind of shifting a bit in there. But like nothing's gonna come off. If I grab it from here and I shake it, nothing has really moved. There is a gap, I believe, somewhere. Yeah, right there. You can see through the alt mode, through there, and through right there. But it's not too noticeable, so there's not much to complain about. It is starting to split a bit there, though. That's not supposed to happen just yet. Looking at the alt mode, though, it's quite solid. Looks lovely. Has some, honestly, really nice sculpt work. Oh, and rolls decently. It's decent. The alt mode's decent. It's solid enough. Does what it needs. So, yeah. Let's go into our comparisons. So, for Deluxe Class, we have Quintus Prime and 86 Sunstreaker. Comparing the figures to Alchemist here, just realized that's pretty off-center. Comparing the figures to Alchemist here, it's not bad, honestly. Sunstreaker is a little longer, and Quintus is definitely longer. But comparing these two pretty majorly different design styles, because 86 is for that more toon, kind of flat aesthetic, while the Primes here are all greebled and designed, all textured up. Comparing the two designs here, though, he fits surprisingly well. It's not bad. It looks decent. It looks decent for the most part. And you will honestly not hear me complain about the aesthetic of this guy. It's quite nice. Taking our deluxe class figures out of here, though, let's get our Voyager class in here, with that being Alchemist Prime. Comparing, do I have another one? I mean, yeah. And I suppose Age of the Prime's Brawl. Brawl isn't too much longer, but, you know, comparisons are still important. Brawl here, though, next Alchemist looks quite nice. Nothing terrible looking, so can't complain there. But don't want him to fall. Okay, but comparing Alchemist to Amalgamist, kind of a mouthful there. Comparing these two together, first of all, it's making me realize how small Amalgamist's alt mode kind of is compared to a lot of the other primes, because most of his mass is just up here and not down here. It's decent, though. Scaling the two together, you can see that Amalgamist, if we put the legs kind of straight out, so that would mean we need to shift these around just a bit. And I've shaken the camera again. Stop that. If we put the forearms fully out just like that, we are pretty close to where we still were, so not much to really change there. So let's get him out of the way. We'll put you over here for now. And finally, Megatronus. Megatronus, being a leader class, is obviously much larger than our deluxe class, both in length and width. This is clearly a higher price point and higher budget than Alchemist here. But comparing the two, they look quite nice. Their aesthetics mesh quite well. And in robot mode, you'll see, or when we get to robot mode, you'll see that their aesthetics don't clash as much as other color schemes do. I feel like these two work quite together, work well. I'm sorry if I'm stuttering a lot. It's late. Let's say I realized that I haven't done a video in about a week. I was like, oh hey, might as well get the video done. And I'm starting to regret that decision immensely. But Alchemist here. Lovely. Solid figure. Can't complain. Or solid alt mode so far. Doesn't do anything too special, but it's nice. Why is my focus going off so terribly? Is it? I might need to get a new stand, because I feel like the stand's shaking too much, and that's making my focus go off. But with that being said, let's get into the transformation. First thing you want to do is come to the back end and kind of pull gently and bend these out, like so. Then next thing you want to do is bend the legs, so these little tabs, and I shook the camera again, okay, so that these tabs right here can get out of little slots on these shins right here. Next thing you want to do, flip out the feet, and that's kind of where we stop for the legs for now, because next thing is coming to the top of the alt mode, flipping up the hands, and splitting this whole section. Make sure that you kind of move everything out of the way for these to fold outward. Yeah, push these in and push to the side of the alt mode, just like that. The next thing you want to do is grab this, hold it about here so you don't risk breaking it, because when you have your finger here, it applies pressure to this opaque piece of plastic, making it less likely that it's going to shatter in your hands. But then you kind of just shift it upward. There's two slots right here that these two little tabs go into. It doesn't really plug in securely, it comes out easily. But the opaque piece of plastic alone should be able to hold it there nicely. Next thing you want to do is straighten the legs, separate the feet. That stuck a lot better than usual. Then take the front of the shins, collapse them just like that. Rotate the waist, move the arms down, then come to the front of the chest, pull that open, little nub right there that you want to just grab to fold out his head, and grab his lenses and plug them into his hands as little daggers. And there he is, Alchemist Prime, looking as lovely as ever. I keep stuttering. I need to stop that. I guess not really comparing. I don't have any other Alchemist or McAdams, so there's no other design to really compare him to, unless you want to go into like media comparisons, I guess. And if I compare him digitally to other shows like Cyberverse, is it Cyberverse? Yeah, Cyberverse. The line continuity. I'm not sure if we've had any other appearances of Alchemist outside of those. But like if I compare the ideas of those designs, I can see where McAdam comes through. You know, we have that kind of bartender appearance, that feel. This definitely feels like someone that'd be, this figure feels like someone you'd see owning a business on Cybertron, or going out and making a name for himself market-wise. He looks like a businessman. And I'm not... Why are you... Focus. There you go. And I think that's mainly to do with the face and the short and stout kind of proportions of this guy. It's very businessman feeling. You know? Like this guy, if I didn't know who he was, I do feel like the first thing that might come to my mind after, like, oh, hey, it's a robot, is this guy looks like he'd own something or be a part of a business. He looks nice, though. I'll say the chest is a little flat for, there you go. It's a little flat for my taste. You know, it's well sculpted, don't get me wrong. It's beautifully sculpted. We have beautiful paintwork, silver. This green is painted on, I believe. This kind of greenish gold I was talking about earlier is a lot more over this design too. I like this. It looks lovely. But I'm spacing. Damn it. Oh, but I do feel like right here, it's too flat. I feel this is too flat for his design. It looks good. You know, the sculpt work, the line working there, it looks quite lovely. But I do feel like it's a little too flat. The sides of the arms are clearly the top of the alt mode. Move this. We'll take this out of his hands for now. Without trying to take his hand, please. Come on. Come on. Get in there. I shouldn't be struggling this much with a plastic robot. There you go. The arms designs are quite lovely. Obviously, this is the side of the alt mode right here. But with this piece, or the front of his forearm being shown off now, because these parts right here, his shins, were originally covering that. But we can see it has a nice silver disc sculpt on there, with a smaller disc on the inside and some more line work. The thighs look lovely. Their sculpt work and painting on the thighs right here. Look, I guess the paintwork, there's not much sculpting. The paintwork here looks great though. And you can tell there's a difference though. If I can see it through the camera, and I can definitely see it in person as well. It's not the greatest, but not much else to complain about. The head is probably the main reason why some people might have bought this, because wow. The head looks good. The greenish gold looks lovely. The blue eyes through like the spectacles, through the specs that he's wearing, looks good. The mustache and goatee looks quite lovely, and I like the little side vents on his face, along with the round discs. Looks nice. The feet are sculpted well. We've talked about the shins already because of alt mode relation. Back profile of the figure, it's very clean. Not much hollow spaces either, besides the forearms. And I guess the arms just kind of have quite a bit of hollow spacing here, here, then here, here. Then the legs have theirs right there and there. But like for the most part, it's not really noticeable unless you really go out of your way to look for it. Or if you are a photographer and hollow gaps like that bother you, and you're posing them and they're like, ah, you know. I sound insane, don't I? Look, the figure's good. Another thing that does bother me, though, is kind of this sudden, I guess, transfer. We have this very flat, angular piece going straight up, then this random triangular gap between. And I know that's just where the alt mode's front of the alt mode is, but it looks very unnatural. It looks like his arms are kind of disconnected. And I guess that brings in the other thing, too. His shoulders are really high compared to where his head is, I think. I don't think... Yeah, his shoulders are mounted a little higher than they should be anatomy-wise. I feel like they should be like... Let's see. If we pop this off... I feel like the shoulders should be placed a little more... Maybe here? I feel like? Let's pop this piece off for now. I feel like the shoulders should be like about here. Or maybe just a touch, like about here or so. Or, yeah, about right there. Let's see. If we straighten that out, then it kind of looks like it's a little too low, doesn't it? And it's kind of a fine point, I suppose. But I do feel like his arms are mounted a little weirdly. Along with that, this piece right here has come off on me quite a bit. I think that's just an issue with my particular copy of this guy. But there's been times where I mess with this guy and this piece just falls off. Sorry, I have some congestion. But I guess that's kind of my main qualms. I think that's just kind of it. Those are my issues on this guy. For the most part, though, like, if they don't really hinder the figure too much for me, he still looks good. He poses decent. He poses pretty good, actually. And I guess while we're talking about posing, let's talk about articulation. You know, head looks up that far. Can look down that far because of the hinge it's on. Tilts side to side a little bit, but it's not too much. Can look that far to the side, or that far to the left, that far to the right. Arms can go up that far, all the way around. 360 rotation at the bicep, 90-degree bend at the elbows. No wrist swivel, but wrists go undue to transformation. 360 at the waist, just like that. Legs go back that far, forward that far, and out that far. 360 rotation at the thigh. I think that's exactly 90 degrees at the knees. Pretty large ankle pivot, which is quite nice. And yeah, you know, I don't know what else to say. So let's get into scaling. Yeah. Let's see. Do I have any deluxe figures transfer? No, I don't. Okay. I'll be right back. We're going to transform Sunstreaker. Alrighty, got Sunstreaker transformed. So, let's do our size comparisons. Move that to the side a bit. Get you in the center. And there we go. So, for deluxe class, Sunstreaker. About the same size. There you go. About the same size. Looking lovely, though. For Voyager class, we have 86 Shockwave. For Leader class, we have 86 Megatron. And because he's here as well, for Voyager class, we'll bring in G-Axis. Since, you know, why not? And finally, for Commander class, because he's also here, we'll bring in Menasor. And you know what? My camera's out of focus. Like I was going to say, though, he looks quite nice. Let's say, like, knock it off. Okay, I might just get a new camera stand. Gotta save it for my car first, though, so we can't be doing that. But, scaling the guys together looks quite nice. Looking lovely. I need to clean Menasor. He is covered in dust. I don't have, like, a glass display case, so dust does get on my figures. Some people see that as heresy. How dare thou not spend money? But on the other hand, I also spent it all on the figure. I don't have the money for a new shelf. But that's besides the point. Besides the point. For final thoughts on Alchemist here, I like him. I see some of the issues that a lot of people have with him. His transformation doesn't feel exactly intuitive, but it's simple. It's decent enough. Gets you to point A to point B quite well. Figure looks good. I just realized I did not go over his artifact. I think we did that for... I think I almost did that with another figure too. His artifacts... If the camera wants to focus. Focus, camera. Come on. There we go. We'll start with this one. This one is lovely. I do not know the symbol that is inside that lens on this top one. I know the silver symbol here is Alchemist's symbol. On the other side, we have the other set of lens. And on that, we have the Unicron symbol. And obviously, you can connect the two, put them together. One thing I do like a lot about this piece is it's asymmetrical. So it's quite uniquely designed. Looking lovely. There are two 5mm ports, or pegs. 2 for the handles, 2 for connections on anywhere else. For example, if you wanted to, you could just plug those in on the forearms. Make them look all snazzy. But I think that kind of whoa. Now, once again, for my final thoughts, he's good. I like him. I don't understand entirely why people were so harsh on the figure. Is it perfect? No, but there's no such thing as perfect. He's good, though. He's a decent figure. I like him a lot. He looks nice. He feels nice. I don't regret spending the money I did on this guy. And I'm quite content with him. He looks good. It's nice having a Macadam or Alchemist. It's not a bad figure. But it does, I guess, feel a little lackluster when it comes to, like, presence, I suppose. Because one thing that a lot of people want with a figure like this is they want the presence, they want the feel of a Prime. And sometimes a Prime is just a guy. It's a good figure, though. I do understand some of the criticisms. Like I said earlier, his conversion's definitely not the most intuitive, as stated earlier, but I guess I do expect intuitive transformations. That's a lie. I really do expect an intuitive transformation out of a Transformer, just the nature of the toy. But it does a good job. It's simple enough. I feel like I could buy one of these for one of my siblings and they'd be able to figure it out without having to bring it to me. Asking me, can you do it for me? Can you do it for me? I was like, no, I will not do it for you. I feel like it's simple enough for them to get. And sometimes that's not a good thing for some people. Some people want complex. Some people want difficult. We got 86 Megatron here. It looks gorgeous, but a very involved transformation. Very intuitive. I like it a lot. And some people don't like that. Some people love it, some people hate it. In this case, a lot of people didn't like this guy's transformation. I understand why. I see why. but I do like it. I enjoy the simplicity of it. I feel like if a figure's able to look this good in robot and in vehicle mode, with little to no compromises in either mode, with the simple transformation, cool. I like it. You know? I await the day we get a G1 Optimus Prime that looks good in both robot and vehicle mode that's under 20 steps. You know, I think we've gotten a few out there, but a G1 Optimus with less than 20 steps, I feel like that's what we should shoot for. But yeah, final thoughts. Figure's good. I recommend him. And yeah, not much else to say. It's a solid figure. I enjoy. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, whatever helps. Thank you for watching. And if you guys didn't enjoy the video, comment down below. Tell me why. You know, I want to improve as a creator. And I'm gonna keep trying to do that, because, as I've said before, no such thing as perfection, but there's always room to improve. So yeah, until then, see you next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.